Hello and welcome to the first in our Tools for Schools staff wellbeing videos on the key ways of coping. Today we're going to be looking at self-care. What is self-care then? Well, self-care is about us taking the time to treat ourselves to the things that help us feel at our best in order to help us improve and protect our mental health. Self-care is a type of coping that can look quite different from person to person, which means the results of good self-care can look different as well. Usually though, being on top of our self-care helps us feel more relaxed and more settled. It's best suited for when we're feeling stressed or overwhelmed and when we're struggling to put ourselves first. Self-care allows us to prioritize our own well-being and gives us a kind of emotional refresh. Self-care can range from engaging in your favorite hobbies, spending time with people who make you feel your best, treating yourself to your favorite food or drink, and much, much more. The importance of it is that you're making an active and deliberate choice to take care of yourself and put your own well-being first. Because it can be so varied and so personal, we can't tell you specifically how you should practice self-care, but instead we're going to quickly look at how you can find the right ways of self-care for you. As already mentioned, self-care is a great way to help us reset. If you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, have a think about some of the positive ways you'd usually describe yourself, or how others would usually describe you. If you're feeling particularly stressed or overwhelmed, perhaps you haven't been feeling those things as much recently. Maybe you'd usually think of yourself as an optimistic person but haven't been feeling that. Maybe a peaceful person but haven't been feeling that, or a motivated person but haven't felt that. These are the kind of things that we can be missing out on without fully realizing sometimes, and that's usually a sign that we need to start acting on a bit of self-care. By thinking like this, we now have something specific that we know we're looking for from our self-care. So now it's time to think. What do you usually like to do that nourishes and fulfills that part of you that you haven't been feeling? Here's some examples. Maybe you describe yourself as a creative person, but have felt overwhelmed recently and realized you haven't taken the time to engage with that part of yourself. So you decide for your self-care to set out some time to really focus on what makes you feel fulfilled creatively. Maybe you usually consider yourself to be a positive person, and you're wondering where that positivity has gone. It just doesn't seem to come as easily anymore. You think about it and realize that you haven't treated yourself to do the things that help fuel that optimism, and make the decision to reach out to the people who do make you feel positive and fulfill that side of you. It's important to note that sometimes the ways that we're used to fulfilling those parts of us change, and that's okay. Sometimes new ways of self-care is much easier when we know what kind of feeling we're looking for from it. Equally, we can use self-care that we're familiar with to find and explore new parts of ourselves, or parts that don't come as easily. Over the next week, we'd like to have a think about these two questions. Firstly, what parts of my best self have I not been feeling as much recently? And secondly, how and when can I take the time to treat myself to unwind and nourish those parts? Try to make a plan to do so over the next couple of weeks, even if it's just quick or simple things. If you'd like more help with your self-care or with your mental health in general, please do reach out to us at Newport Mind. We'll be seeing you in our next video on this topic, which will be looking at the coping strategy of grounding and how you can use that in school. Thanks very much for watching.